Introducing cats to each other is not just as simple as, hey cat, meet your new best friend. Cats, unlike dogs, have a very different social structure. I'm going to talk you through some of the easiest ways you can actually set yourself up for success. My name's Amanda. I'm a clinical feline behaviourist for ktten.com. This is Hugo, and we've got some super tips to share with you. Starting off with the non-visual phase. This is when you'd have your new cat in the home in an isolation room where it's got all its resources, food, water, litter tray and so on, and it's going to be very comfortable there, but it doesn't set eyes on your resident cat. Now this will be different if you have a kitten, because generally kittens will integrate a lot quicker than an older cat or an adult cat. But if your new cat is in its isolation room, your decompression room, your safe zone, your kitty creche, call it whatever you want, but it's safe space, then you need to start scent swapping. So just take the blanket from the new cat to the resident cat and swap them over. Another thing that you can do is pop a glove or a sock, a clean sock, onto your hand, and then literally get that sock and gently wipe the cat's mouth, and you're transferring the scent, all the cat's facial pheromones from that cat, and you go over and do this with the glove or the sock onto the other cat and then back again. With what's left of the pheromones on there, you can then wipe door frames and walls around the home of the two areas that they're in. So you've got zone A and zone B. Zone A is where the new cat is, zone B is where the resident cat is, and you would swap these scents, and you would do this probably twice a day so that each cat becomes aware and reads the messages from the pheromones that you're actually transposing one across to the other. You might notice one of the cats will pull a funny face, and this is called phlegming, and this is when the vomeronasal organ at the roof of the mouth, it actually takes on board more of the scent and more of the information that is given in those facial pheromones. This could be the cat's age, the gender, whether it's entire or not, whether it's coming into estrus, whether it's an indoor cat, an outdoor cat. It's like a little calling card with all different messages on for cats to decipher who the other cat is in the home. You'd carry on this non-visual introduction for certainly a good period of time, a week or more, when both cats are settled. And then what you could do is then start zone swapping. So then, all without visual introduction, by the way, you'd actually start swapping the zones over. So one cat would be in zone A and the other cat would be in zone B, and then you'd swap them over so they didn't see each other, but then they were swapped over, and then the other cat can then explore the house safely and transfer more of its scent onto scratch poles and things like that. So then the other cat can transfer its scent onto furniture, walls and scratch poles and things like that. And this could again take another week or two. Don't try and rush this process, because if you do rush it, then you're going to set yourself up for a fail, because cats their social structure is very, very different, and they're very, very territorial animals, and they'll just think it's an imposter that's going to come into the home and steal their resources. When it comes to resources, remember, if you have a multi-cat home, you need multiple resources. One litter tray per cat plus one extra, and then with your trees, your scratch poles, again the same ratio applies. Now it's time to move on to the visual stage. This is my favourite stage actually. So hopefully now you won't notice any aversive facial expressions when you give the cat the other blanket that the other cat has been sleeping in, or when they're zone swapped, they're literally just actually not so bothered about the new cat smell. They're just normally just carrying on as they would do. So then baby gates I find are very, very good. Some people like to use dog mesh or mesh screens. These can sometimes be a bit of an issue because the cats look very distorted behind them, and it's good that the cat have a good clear image of what they're actually seeing, of what their new feline companion looks like. But stacked baby gates are really, really good. Now, if you find that you've got a cat that's a little bit narrow and that can actually get through the baby gates, pipe insulation foam is brilliant here. Or you could even use a plastic trellis that you use for garden climbing plants. You could make your own with a temporary door frame that goes in there. Or you could even just stick with double-sided tape the wire that goes across that door frame. Make sure it's tall enough so that the cats can't jump over, and if you've got the pipe foam on the baby gates, it actually narrows the gap so smaller cats can't get through. If you've got a double stack baby gate, you could even use the plastic mesh against that baby gate as well. This gives the cat opportunity to see each other, they can actually smell each other, and they can touch each other if they want to. When you first start off doing the visual introduction, it's a good idea to get something like a snuffle mat that you can actually put either side of the gate, and each cat can go and forage. Now, this isn't to be confused with feeding the cats either side of the gate, because some theories are that you have your cat food fed like this and then you bring it closer and closer and closer to the gate. That actually sets up a precedent for a competition of resources, because cats like to eat on their own anyway. They're solitary hunters and they're solitary eaters. So by taking them away when they're feeding each other so they don't see each other when they're actually having their full satiety meal, that reduces tension. But treats and play are completely different. So if you're bringing the cats together and good things happen, whether it's parallel play either side of the gate, or they're getting licky mats with licky treats on there, that's brilliant, because then positive things happen when they become next to each other. And meet and treat is a good idea. So pick a time that you can carry out this action at the same time every day. Say for example it's 5 p.m. Then at 5 p.m. you would get both cats, you would call them to either side of the gate, and you would give them a high reward treat, something that they don't get any other time. Cats regulate by clockwork. They will soon know when 5 o'clock comes, and you know you're ready to move on to the next stage when 5 o'clock comes and they're both sitting either side of the gate. Still continue the rotation, the zone rotation, while they're having visual contact as well, because again, this is good that no cat becomes territory focused. So the whole house is shared. It's not just you're in zone A and that's yours, I'm in zone B and that's mine. So it's important to keep that zone swapping carrying on. Now, this could take months. Don't try and hurry up this step. With kittens it will be a lot faster, but with adult cats you take the time it takes so that it takes less time, because doing it this way you're not going to get any negative repulsion at the other cat, and you're not going to get a stalled introduction. Once both cats are actually feeling quite happy either side of the gate, and you may be not getting as much vocalization, hissing is not aggression. Hissing is just one cat letting the other cat know that back off a little bit, I'm not feeling very comfortable right now, and that's okay. So if you do find that cat's hissing, then just ignore that. They're allowed to have their conversation between each other, because they need to work out which one is the more confident cat, and they need to work out a new dynamic between them. When you're ready then to accidentally leave open the gate, it's a good idea to set this time up. So maybe put cat TV on, maybe put a trail for the cat to find of treats, and you have the other cat in the room already watching cat TV. It's a good idea not to do that first thing or last thing at night, because cats are crepuscular. They tend to be more energetic around this time, so probably a good time would be after they've just woken up from a nap. And if you've got one cat sitting next to you and you're soothing that cat and it's heavily focused on cat TV or it's foraging, and then you can bring the other cat into the room or accidentally let it into the room, and maybe there's a licky mat there for the cat to have, and then you can give the other cat a licky mat at the same time. And then building on this next stage is really important too. If you've got one cat that is maybe harness trained, you could consider popping a harness on and let the other cat then roam around so that you have got full control. You can then increase this to longer lines and so on. What you mustn't do is put a cat in a cat carrier and let the other cat circle round it. That's just going to really increase tension. But allowing the cat their autonomy to be able to move where they want to, setting it up with lots of different food puzzles and treats around for them to find, hide and seek feeders, water play, really bring out the big guns for this stage so that they've got lots to do and they're more focused on what is in the room that they can find rather than, oh, the other cat's now in the room with them. Build on this. It could be a few minutes at a time, but slow and steady introductions win the race every time. Whatever you do, just don't do, here cat, meet your new best friend, because that's the worst thing you could do, because then we have to unpick that first negative encounter and build up from there. Whereas if they've had a good, positive, slow introduction to start with, then you've got every chance that they'll certainly coexist happily. And who knows, they may end up being bonded and best mates.